Right, this is a video to explain my findings with using the Pictimos skip with Toal at certain levels of EXP that you would get from the normal Blighted Blood grinding spot, since I could not find a better grinding spot for the life of me in all of the rest of the game. For this level range anyway. Now, to start, the most basic part is that the Pictimos skip is a dick. It's super hard to understand the trick to it if you don't understand exactly the inputs you need to begin with. And then the angle is difficult as well, on top of that, to wall run. There is a setup. I will show that in another video at some point, or in a stream, or etc. But I will definitely show it. That is disclaimer, because the Pictimos skip is hard. Do not expect to get it every run. If you are going to reset with a Pictimos skip, prepare to reset a lot. If you are going to continue, prepare to be either a lower level if you want to use one of the efficient routes, but we will get to that later. Or grind to the normal level anyway, because that still works. Now, the second part of this is to explain the Zava fight, because this is where the difficulty sort of pops up from in terms of going fast. Kishgal's difficulty is a little different, but that's simply getting good at the fight. There's no trick to making the Kishgal fight any easier. You simply have to be good at it. But the Zava fight, you can do the invuln glitch on Zava, similar to Shion and Hugo too. But there's a little extra thing to it. Sometimes when you're fighting her, it'll just disappear. We're not talking if you accidentally press Godspeed or something, which always forces it to disappear. No, it just randomly vanishes. And it's not to do with the amount of time you've been invuln glitched for, because I literally stood there for 5 minutes when she was full health, because she doesn't go into the heads at full health. And I stayed invuln for the entire time. I literally just stood there. What I can tell you is that it has something to do with when she goes inside a head. Or potentially when she casts the large spells. That seemed to make it go away once as well. But basically, I can't confirm why it goes sometimes, but I can tell you those are the times it's going to. If Zava is actually on the floor and you're attacking the fuck out of her, you don't need to give a shit. You can literally just slap her in the face a bunch of times and you'll be fine still. Yeah, that's basically that. The head's fire breath won't hit you or anything like that. What I have noticed is that when I used a charged Inferno to attack the head, to make Zava, or to move it a cycle, because it takes 4 cycles to get Zava back out of the head, whenever I did that, it did not fall off. I managed to keep the glitch for an entire fight, and it just happened to be the fight where I decided to start leveling my equipment for it, because I was doing the Zava fight at 39, which is 6 levels lower than the current Toal route fights her. It's hard. It can kill you, and it's fairly slow compared to the current route. Yeah. So now I'm going to explain exactly how you progress from doing it. I'm going to cover them in difficulty of hardest to easiest. So I should probably do it the other way actually. I'll do it from easiest to hardest, because that's the order you probably want to learn them, except a couple of them which I'll point out. The normal blighted blood grinding. If you grind to level 38, which is what you normally do, then and then you skip Pictimos, you literally just fight Kishgal at 38, and levels you to 43, which is 2 levels lower than you're supposed to be. And then this is, of course, all with EXP times 1.99. If you complete a fight without EXP times 1.99, you're probably going to have a bad time. I'm going to test that at some point, like doing the Zava fight with 1.0 experience, but that's a different matter entirely. Back to the topic at hand. Sorry about the tangent. And then you fight Zava at 43 and it's a tiny bit harder and it's, yeah. And that gets you to level 46 for Hugo 2. You're normally level 46 for Hugo 2. If you fight Zava at 45, like normal, you get to level 46. Hugo 2 is always 46 currently. In terms of time and ease of post-skip stuff, there's no benefit to doing this really. You take the exact same amount of time to grind. The Kishgal fight is a tiny bit harder, and then the Zava fight is pretty much the exact same. On top of that, everything is about the same difficulty and takes about the same amount of time as if you were to level to 37 instead of 38. What this does do, however, is if you miss the Pictimos skip and decide to fight Pictimos instead of resetting the game, then you will be on the exact same route as currently. You will simply fight Pictimos, you'll get to level 39, you'll fight Kishgal at 39, and that's normally what happens in the current route. That is the only reason to do this one, I'm pretty sure. Just because this one is far better in every way. In terms of time and difficulty. That brings us to the normal blighted blood grinding, -1. Basically, in -1, it's quite simple. Instead of leveling to 38 in blighted blood, you level to 37. Now, I hear you say, but then you have less EXP, so you're going to have to fight things at lower levels, right? The rest of the bosses of the game, all lower level. That sounds hard. And that's not how it works. Basically, the lower level you are from the enemy you're fighting, it scales the amount of EXP you get. So you get more EXP if you're a lower level. And against bosses, that means a lot, because the EXP you get is a large bulk. So basically, if you're 1 level lower, when you fight Kishgal, after doing the Pictimos skip, the fight can be kind of difficult unless you're particularly good at it. To make the fight easier, you can upgrade the armor. You'll probably have the SP to do it. And the boots, for that matter. And that gets you to level 42, with times 1.99. You can then fight Zava at level 42. And this isn't any harder than the current Zava fight at 45, to be honest. The fight takes a cycle more, pretty much every time. And will take 2 cycles more if you're not the best at the fight. But the good news is that it also gets you to level 46, same as the level 38 route. You fight Hugo 2 at the exact same level as usual. This is the easiest one that's actually worth doing in my opinion. Frankly, it's safe, or fairly safe. It's not as safe as the current route, of course, because you can actually die on Kishgal. Significantly easier, in fact. But it's the safest one. That's worth it. As it says here, the fights aren't particularly more difficult. And they barely take longer. I'm, as it says, almost 100% certain this is better than fighting Pictimos, as long as you do the skip first try. And as long as fighting Pictimos at 37 is not an issue. If you do. Because the thing is, if you can't do the skip first try, if you miss it, you either get to choose between fighting Pictimos, like realistically, fighting Pictimos at the lower level, you can reset your entire run, and that's pretty much it. You can technically also just reset the game and try the skip again, but at that point you may as well have done the fight. Yeah, that's the -1 route. Next is the -2 route, which is, as it says in the name, notice the pattern here, when you grind 2 levels lower than normal, which is level 36. This is the best middle ground, frankly. This is it's not too difficult, it's not easy though. You don't lose significant amounts of time to the bosses, and you grind for 2 levels less. I'm pretty sure this one is significantly better than the current route. Zava fight is going to take at least a cycle extra every time without fail. And if you execute not particularly well, it will take 2 cycles longer. It's a bit different from this one, where in this one you have to play bad to get 2 extra cycles. In this one, if you make a mistake, you're going to get 2 extra cycles. This is probably the best one in terms of like ease and time. This is the one I'm going to be starting with, where if I miss the skip, I am going to simply fight Pictimos, whereas if I get the skip, I'm going to do this instead. I'm just going to go straight to Kishgal and fight him at 36. You fight Kishgal at a lower level, of course, at 3 levels lower, and then you fight Zava at 4 levels lower, and then you fight Hugo 2 at the exact same level as usual. There's nothing particularly special about it. Stuff takes a little longer. That's about it. Oh, and Kishgal is harder. And you can actually die on Zava. That's all that it changes. This next one is a bit... I'm not entirely sure. Lighted blood grinding times -3. When you're level 35 to fight Kishgal after the skip. It levels you to 40, which is fine. In case you hadn't noticed the pattern, this pretty much always gives you 5 levels. Like, all of them give you 5 levels. Like this one, 38 to 43, and this one, 34 to 39. But this one, it does go from 35 to 40. The fight is difficult with Kishgal here, frankly. And it's difficult enough that you're going to lose time because it's difficult. And you have to play a bit safer. It's more difficult. And fighting Zava you have to fight Zava at 40, which is also incredibly more difficult than at 41. I'm not sure why, but I guess it's because you're pretty much forced into having to do 2 extra cycles, and at 2 extra cycles she can start casting well, she can technically start casting it anyway, but it makes it far more likely, with the speed you're going to be completing the fight, that she's going to cast the big spell that sucks you in. This is probably where you'd start using the invuln glitch on Zava, if just for the first part of the fight to stop you taking about 60 damage at the start. But, as it says here, my opinion on this one is that it's simply not worthwhile compared to the one that I'm going to cover next. Because this one, like, the -2 route is significantly easier than the -3 route. Like, significantly. Kishgal will body you if you're not particularly good at the fight. And yet, it's significantly slower than the -4 route, which I'll cover next. I just don't understand, I just don't see this as being particularly worthwhile. The extra level you get from grinding does not help in these fights enough to justify grinding for a level. And, for that matter, losing a level later. I'm pretty sure you lose a level, because you get to 51 for the final bosses. And this, -4. I'm not sure if this has the most potential time save, but I'm willing to bet that it does. And basically what you do is you only get to level 34. This makes it really fucking hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not that much harder than doing Kishgal at 35 or Zava at 40, but it is harder. Like these fights are. Ugh. However, the biggest thing you get out of this, well, not the biggest thing actually. The biggest thing is that you grind 4 levels less and skip Pictimos. Those are the biggest things, rather. But an interesting thing you get out of this is that when you beat Hugo 2, who is still super free to the invuln glitch, you fight him at level 44. This levels you to 52, which is a level higher than usual. Normally, you fight Dales and Dharm at 51. See, this doesn't mean that much, but it does mean you're going to be doing 4 or 5 more damage to Dales per hit. I cleared Dales about 10-15 seconds faster because I had an extra level, which more than made up for doing Hugo at 44. So that makes that a non-factor. So that makes it become a case of, as the extra time it takes to do these fights worth or equal to, or the extra time it takes to do these fights less than it does to grind 4 levels and fight Pictimos. Or for that matter, to grind 2 levels and skip Pictimos and do this route. As it says here, it doesn't really make Dharm faster, you barely do any more damage for some reason. I guess because you're not using jump attacks very much. And because to kill the fog, you still do 1 damage per hit. There's nothing that's going to change that. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but I'm willing to bet that it is. Right, and that is the 5 routes that I've fully tested. I say fully tested. I didn't test -3 very far, because the Zava fight it was as hard as fighting her at 39, and you grinded an extra level for that. So yeah, there's the 4 routes that I've tested, and the one in between that doesn't really fit. So yeah, that's how I'm going to be running it now. I'm going to, basically, as it says here, here's my closing thoughts. I'm pretty sure it's faster, frankly. As long as you are good at the Kishgal fight, potentially good at the Zava fight, and as long as you get the skip first try. Maybe one day my run will be good enough that there is no point in continuing the run if I get into the Pictimos fight. But as of right now, if I miss the skip once, I'm simply going to fight Pictimos at the lower level, because I'm going to be doing it at 36. I'm going to be grinding to 36, going to Pictimos, and fighting him. One thing I didn't cover, by the way, which is a thing to take note of, is that the enemies outside Pictimos' door, from probably 36 and below, you are going to need, or it is going to be worth it to lower their defense first. And most of your damage is going to come from lightning spells. Use your boost. You'll probably need it. That fight actually takes a fair amount more time because you have to kill 4 of them. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to be getting to 36, going to the Pictimos skip, and fighting Pictimos if I fail to skip. If I struggle to kill Pictimos at 36, which I doubt, considering I can kill Kishgal easily enough, then I'll rethink my decision. Anyway, this has been a video about the Pictimos skip. I will be making a follow-up video sometime soon, probably, that shows off the Pictimos skip, shows off the fights at different levels for each of these, except -3 because it's fucking useless. and overall just not. And overall, I'm just going to cover the actual gameplay, because right now this has literally been a video of me having a notepad open, because I've literally just finished my experimenting on it. And I opened up Notepad, and I was like, right, let's make a video to explain this, so that I can explain it to Ghost King and any other Toal runners who may be interested in the future. Looking at you, Spooty, Mr. World Record holder, who is probably not coming back to this game anytime soon. But yes, this video is for potential future Toal runners and Ghost King, basically, so that I don't have to explain it more than once, and so that it's got a better explanation than a simple text file, but frankly doesn't go into much detail. So thank you for watching. I have been Felvisage. You can catch me streaming speedruns of this game as well as a few others. This game being Ys Origin. Sorry, this game is Ys Origin for Steam. You can catch me doing speedruns of that game and a few others currently. Twitch TV /Felvisage. That is twitch.tv /Felvisage. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Sorry if I bored you, but I felt like it was worth uploading this since Ghost King doesn't have a Twitter. Peace out.